Hello, I'm sitting here with Janie Perkins, who is the Migrant ESL Refugee Immigrant Coordinator here in Garden City Public Schools. And I have a few questions that I would like to ask Janie about her personal experience as a former English language learner and former migrant student, and also what advice can she give us all about working with migrant kids and English language learners. So, my first question is, how old were you when you left Mexico?
I was about 10 and a half years old.
10 and a half?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And why did you leave Mexico?
Well, where I came from, it was a very small village. There was no running water, no plumbing, no electricity. And of course we didn't have any schools, and so I had never been in a school setting in my life. My father was the one that used to travel up here and work temporarily, and he finally decided that he wanted to bring the family up here so that his children could be educated and have a better life than what we had in Mexico. And so he brought the family up here, and that was through some family members that already lived up here in the United States. And so we came on a temporary permit and then ended up staying here, working towards citizenship in the United States. And so when I first started school was when I was about 10 and a half. And
so you had never attended school before?
Never.
Until you were 10 and a half, which is about 4th grade or 5th grade?
Right, 4th grade. The parochial school, they still had nuns at that time, and wonderful, wonderful individuals that I still stay in contact with, a couple of them. And even though they didn't know my language, I didn't know their language, I believe they saw the potential in me. The other thing, too, that I felt was very important was that I attended summer school. And it was the Migrant Summer School program. I did that for a couple of years.
How can teachers and school personnel, what can they do to encourage their students to keep learning?
You know, I think one of the things that they can do is just to believe in the students, believe in them, and I know for many of our staff, especially in our community, because it's so diversified, and we have students that come from so many different countries that speak, you know, another language, and where they have no English skills, and some that come in kind of like myself with no literate skills. You know, is to just have faith in their students and just do what they're doing and work with them. And they are learning, even though they may be quiet or they may not be saying much, they are learning just by seeing what's going on and by listening. And eventually they will start speaking and they will start writing, reading and writing. They will. And, you know, I truly believe that you never stop being a second language learner.
You have a master's degree now, right?
I do.
So what was your inspiration?
You know, I think part of it was something that I wanted to do. I always wanted to go into education. I wanted to be a teacher because I admired many of my teachers. But I also believe that it was all because of my family, my husband, my children, my mother, my father, and just a love of learning.
What made you decide to run for Garden City's City Council?
I think, again, it's, like I said, from my family I learned how to give back and also how to be involved with the different community organizations and just helping others.
Do you have any advice that is specific to working with migrant students who just may be in their classroom for a short period of time?
You know, I would advise, or the advice that I would give to these educators is that help them as much as you can while they're there in your classroom. And if you have any kind of contact with the parents, you know, let them know that education is very important wherever they may be. And that you understand that it's difficult for them to stop, you know, doing that migratory or living that migratory lifestyle, but that you would also like, you know, just for them to help their child, like I said, wherever they may go. And if there's any kind of materials that you would like to give them, books especially, you know, give that to them, and so that they can take it with them. And you know, when you get a new migrant student in your classroom, find out at what level they're at and what else you can do to help them, to encourage them to, be successful in their learning. Just to understand that, if the families could, I'm sure they would like to settle and stay in that community and just raise their children just like we want to do. But sometimes because of the work that they're doing,
it's not an option.
It isn't.
To stay.
It isn't, right. So
yeah.
and that's where they must keep moving so that they can find that job that will provide for the families.